Hello everyone, this is me Devoshmita Sharkar. Today we are going to talk about human environment, settlement, transport and communication. In chapter 1 you have learned settlements are places where people build their homes. So settlements are the places where people build their homes. Early human beings lived on trees and in caves. When they started to grow crops, it became necessary to have a permanent home. The settlements grew near the river valley as water was available and land was fertile. With the development of trade, commerce, and manufacturing, human settlements became larger. Settlements flourished and civilizations developed near river valleys. Do you recall the names of civilizations that grew along the banks of rivers Indus, Tigris, Nile, and Wangi? Settlements can be permanent or temporary. Settlements which are occupied for a short period of time are called temporary settlements. The people living in deep forest, hot and cold deserts and mountains often dwell in such temporary settlements. They practice hunting, gathering, shifting, cultivation and transcuments. However, more and more settlements today are permanent settlements where people settle or occupy for a longer period of time. In this settlement, people build homes to live in. It was Mary's birthday party. She and her father were waiting for Gurpreet to arrive so that Mary could cut the cake. At last Gurpreet arrived, tired, coughing and wheezing. She explained that the traffic jam was terrible. Mary's mother, Mrs. Thomas, patted Gurpreet's back and sighed, "Woof, the pollution in our city." The Prasad had recently come from his village. He asked, "Why do we have such traffic jams and such pollution in the cities? The number of vehicles is increasing day by day due to the growing populations in the cities." Mary's father, Mr. Thomas, replied. Mary asked, "Then why are people coming to the cities?" Her mother replied, "They come looking for jobs, better education, and medical facilities." Mary further inquired, "If so many people keep coming to cities, where will all the people live?" Mr. Thomas said, "That is why you see so many slums and squatter settlements where people stay in congested and unhygienic conditions. Shortage of power and water supply are common problems in the cities." Prasad said, "Our villages may not have big cinema halls, well equipped schools and good hospitals, but we have a lot of open spaces and fresh air to breathe in. When my grandfather was sick, we had to rush him to the city hospital." From the above conversation, we can identify two different pictures of settlements: the rural and the urban settlements. The villages are rural settlements where people are engaged in activities like agriculture, fishing, forestry, crafts work, and trading, etc. Rural settlements can be compact or scattered. A compact settlement is a closely built area of dwellings wherever flat land is available. In a scattered settlements, dwellings are spaced over an extensive area. This type of settlement is mostly found in hilly tracts, thick forests, and regions of extreme climate. In rural areas, people build houses to suit their environment. In regions of heavy rainfall, they have slanting roofs, places where water accumulates in the rainy season. The houses are constructed on a raised platform or stilts. Thick, thick mud walled houses with thatched roofs are very common in areas of hot climate. Local materials like stones, mud, clay, and straw, etc., are used to construct houses. The towns are small and the cities are larger urban settlements. In urban areas, the people are engaged in manufacturing, trading, and services. Now we'll talk about transport. Transport is the means by which people and goods move. In the earlier days, it took a great deal of time to travel long distances. People had to work and used animals to carry their goods. Inventions of the wheel made transport easier. With the passage of time, different means of transport developed, but even today, people use transport animals for transport. In our country, donkeys, mules, bullocks, and camels are common. In the Andes mountains of South America, llamas are used as yaks in Tibet. The early trader from other countries used to take several months to reach India. They took either the sea route or the land route. Aeroplanes have made travel faster. Now it only takes 6 to 8 hours to travel from India to Europe. Modern means of transport thus saves time and energy. The four major means of transport are roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. Roadways, the most commonly used means of transport, especially for short distances, are road. They can be metalled like pakka and unmetalled like kacha. The plains have a dense network of roads. Roads have also been built in terrains like deserts, forests, and even high mountains. Manali Leh highway in the Himalayan mountain is one of the highest roadways in the world. Roads built underground are called subways, underpaths. Flyovers are built over raised structures. There are several national and state highways in India. The latest development in India is the construction of expressways. The Golden Quadrilateral connects Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata. Railways. The railways carry heavy goods and people over long distances quickly and cheaply. The invention of the steam engine and the Industrial Revolution helped in speedy development of rail transport. Diesel and electric engines have largely replaced the steam engines. In places, super-fast trains have been introduced to make the journey faster. The railway network is well developed over the plain areas. Advanced technological skills have enabled laying of railway lines in difficult mountain terrains also, but these are much fewer in numbers. Indian railway network is well developed. It is the largest in Asia. The train from Zinc to Lhasa runs at an altitude of 4,000 meter above sea level and the highest point of 5,072 meter. The Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest railway system connecting Saint Petersburg in western Russia to Vladivostok on the Pacific coast. So this is the map. Now we'll talk about waterways. You have already learned that since early days, waterways were used for transportation. Waterways are the cheapest for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distance. They are mainly of two types: inland waterways and sea routes. Navigable rivers and lakes are used as inland waterways. Some of the important inland waterways are the Ganga Brahmaputra river system, the Great Lakes in North America, and the river Nile in Africa. Sea routes and oceanic routes are mostly used for transporting merchandise and goods from other country to another. These routes are connected with the ports. Some of the important ports of the world are Singapore and Mumbai in Asia, New York, Los Angeles in North America, Rio de Janeiro in South America, Durban and Cape Town in Africa, Sydney in Australia, London and Rotterdam in Europe. Now we'll talk about airways. This is the fastest way of transport developed in the early 20th century. It is also the most expensive due to the high cost of fuels. Air traffic is adversely affected by bad weather like fog and storms. It is the only mode of transport to reach the most remote and distant areas, especially where there are no roads and railways. Helicopters are extremely useful in most inaccessible areas and in time of calamities for rescuing people and distributing food, water, clothes, and medicines. Some of the important airports are Delhi, Mumbai, New York, London, Paris, Frankfurt, and Cairo. Communication. Communication is the process of conveying messages to others. With the development of technology, humans have devised new and fast modes of communication. The advancement in the field of communication has brought about an information revolution in the world. Different modes of communication are used to provide information, to educate, as well as to entertain. Through newspapers, radio, and televisions, we can communicate with a large number of people. They are therefore called mass media. The satellites have made communication even faster. Satellites have helped in oil exploration, survey of forest, underground water, mineral wealth, weather forecast, and disaster warning. Now we can send electronic mails or emails through internet. Wireless telephonic communications through cellular phones have become very popular today. Internet not only provides us with worldwide information and interaction but has also made our lives more comfortable. Now we can reserve tickets for railway, airways and even cinemas and hotels sitting at home with this kind of interconnectivity of people, services, and institutions across the world. We are a large global society. So, with this, we came to the last page. Thank you. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Bye bye. Stay home and stay safe.